All right, and we are coming back now. So, as I said, the lights dimmed, and the lights came back up. And when you finally found your way to your seats, when you finally sat down, the lights got dark again. They got they got very dark, and you couldn't really see anything. But then things got really quiet too. Things got incredibly quiet. You couldn't hear anything. When all of a sudden, there was a really loud smack at a door, and suddenly the music went.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is actually happening.
I don't know. I can't even react.
This is not on the internet now. For your 50th birthday, I'm just going to get you.
Okay.
Sorry. I had to do it. So the performer that comes in, the performer that comes in, he is somebody who is a bit of a showman. He's somebody that really likes the fact that he's famous, and he likes the fact that he's House Lyrandar. And literally,
You don't say.
what he's known for is going around and flying around on various airships because he can for free, because he's House Lyrandar and who his daddy is. And he's known for being a bit of a ladies' man and putting on these ridiculous performances. And so the performance he puts on is like that of a nightclub, actually. And it's funny because this, as much as it might be like gut wrenching for your characters to see that, and I suppose Odette would expect it, and as much as you may not have expected something like that to happen, what it's portraying, what the actual story is portraying, and everybody's able to get this except for Stalbor, who's just kind of like, what is this shit? This is why we don't let half-breeds make music. You know what I mean? I imagine Stalbor is racist. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Stalbor, how do you feel about half-elves? Really quickly.
People are more than just their race.
Okay.
Most
That's very
half-elves.
progressive of you.
Yeah, very, very progressive of your 200 and something year old self. So, anyways, it actually portrays something very different. What the whole performance is trying to portray is that the war's over, guys. Get the fuck over it. You know, life happens. Shit happens. Move on. Have fun. Woo! It's a time for peace. It's a time for fun. And he literally is telling that through song. Now, again, Odette, you rolled a natty 20. So you know that that's what he does, and that's why he's so famous, is because he's able to pull off songs like this. But you also know, because you happen to know about him, that, well, he doesn't actually care about the war that happened or anything about it. He just loves the fact that he's famous and he gets to say stupid words and people love him for it. But it doesn't change the fact that one of the reasons why this performer is so popular is because he is upheld by many other peoples as this like cultural insight of this like very progressive idea of moving on and moving past the war and who cares about all of this and so on and so forth. So you know that. Reich would never have heard of him. Luca would have heard of him and probably knows that, as I'd said about him, as most people do. And Stalbor probably would have heard a couple of like street performers doing knockoffs of that song while traveling through the streets of Sharn. So Reich luckily doesn't know crap about crap. He doesn't have to deal with this Corvarian
He's
garbage.
just knocking off that song from the street performer I saw.
This is another time that, you know, big creator has just stepped on the small creator. Oh my God, this is YouTube.
I'm sure that small portion of the video is going to be silenced anyways because of the powers that be on Twitch, but that's why we didn't have any talking.
Maybe gift.
What?
It may be gift.
It may be gift.
It'll definitely be gift.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Let's keep going. And after the performance is over, and what would have been a wonderful performance for you, Odette, you feel as though you've been cheated by the last, 35 minutes of your life by having to watch this clown put on these ridiculous pyrotechnic performances with flashing lights, which I should probably turn those off, with ridiculous flashing lights and ridiculous like songs about like what you believe to be just garbage. You know what I mean? It's just like, this isn't art. This isn't music. And so that's kind of like how the end of the performance goes. Reich probably feels similar, like this is garbage. Luca probably enjoyed it. One of those like, what? I don't care. I listened to Tay Sway. I don't care. Whatever. And
I think I didn't enjoy it, but I respected it.
Sure.
Respect the artistry, man.
Sure. That's what he says to his friends. But we know he's putting on Queen Bee when he gets in his ship and he's driving home. Oh yeah. So anyways, after the performances are over, after everything's said and done, finally, the curtain call happens. They all come out and they do their layers upon layers upon layers of bows. You guys are actually led out during the tail end of that, where you can finally get your meet and greet, where you can finally greet the peoples. And you're actually brought into a waiting room because they all have to finish like getting somewhat out of uniform and going into the area where you'll be able to meet them. And you're not going to meet every performer, but you're going to meet many of the performers that were there today. Some of them have other things that they need to do, whatever the case may be. So you guys are actually going to be put inside of a very comfortable but smaller room, door that you were let in from, and a door that you're going to be let out to meet the others. It's like a waiting room. And the four of you are all sitting there together, kind of let in almost at the same time. And they say, okay, well, you can wait right here. And is there anything we can get for you while you're waiting? If you guys order any drink or food, whatever the case may be, they get it for you immediately. But otherwise, you're there alone, and a little bit of time's going to pass. You may start talking to one another however you'd like. As I go, turn off my little glow sticky things.
All right. I'm just kind of looking around the room to see if anyone enjoyed this as much as I did, I guess. I'm seeing if any of the three of you would have some signs of that was pretty cool.
I look
Starboard
very
just
grouchy.
looks confused.
So grouchy,
He's-
confused, and
Adet kind of looks bored at the moment.
bored.
He's sort of confused and angry that he's confused. Is that kind of just...
I order tea while we're waiting, and I kind of give a look at the hobgoblin and I say, fragrant tea, please.
I
Oh,
I just ignore that. I order a whiskey and I stare at each of you awkwardly. I don't like. It's not like angry. It's just sitting back and just staring at you guys. I make no conversation unless you talk to me specifically.
Starboard's he's staring back directly at
Good.
Frank now.
Good. I like him. He knows what's up.
He's not said anything this entire time. In the performance, he did not say anything to the people near him, like, silent. And assumedly the person who was meant to sit next to him decided not to because they looked at his facial area.
Just everything about you screams. I'm gonna get another seat.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can scalp these for some good gold.
And then you're like, oh, I hope this guy is just going to the bathroom down here. Oh no, he's going in the room with you. Okay. And we're just staring at the hobgoblin.
So I guess when Reich goes, all right, when he says whiskey, and he's like very stoically, I assume.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I was like,
Whiskey.
make that too. Make that too.
What kind of whiskey is it?
The kind that gets you drunk.
I'll
I
take
say,
a whiskey too.
I say cheers to that, and I like raise my empty glass, like like you obviously are saying it very stoically, very meh, and I'm just like playing it like like, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you raise a glass to me, I kind of look at you for a moment, and I would raise my glass too.
I just gotta give like a approving nod.
Do you like properly drink your whiskey? Because Starboard just like tentatively sips it and sniffs it.
It depends on how good the whiskey is.
I would just shoot it, just whole thing.
And then he like gets the wine that he had earlier, and he like mixes them together slightly, and then tastes it and makes a displeased face. But like, okay, I'm glad I tried this.
It's an experience.
And then just sticks with the glass of disgustingly mixed.
I just look horrified at you.
I did.
Well, if you don't try new things, How are you going to know if they're good or bad? Bet you didn't consider that, did you? That didn't
There's
enter
a
your head,
fine
did it?
elven wine, and I don't know what you're doing to it.
I ruined it. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I just kind of take a seat back and let this unfold and wait for my whiskey to come.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue to
All of your drinks come very, very, very quickly.
Yeah. So I just take the whiskey, just start enjoying it. You'd say this is like a good whiskey, right, Scott? Yep. I'm enjoying it as I've been trained to.
Awesome. So
Trained.
They drilled him very harshly on this.
after you guys have, he's actually only 17 too, but he's drank quite a bit. Now, after you guys have spent a decent amount of time in there, there's like a 15-minute wait or so inside there, which maybe some of you guys are getting a little antsy, maybe not at all. You know, it's all good. Eventually, they open up the door, and somebody's like, "Oh, please come in, come and meet the performers." And immediately when you go in there, you're able to meet tons of performers. A few of the acrobats, a lot of the symphony that had played, my apologies, the orchestra that had played, and a few of the other performers. Perhaps the single most talented performer that you guys were able to meet and might be excited to see is the first performance that you saw. The young lady who played the harp and sang that song that like really carried a lot of meaning or whatever to it by herself. So do you guys want to intermingle with any of them at all, or I say hi and move
Definitely the first one.
Okay.
Would maybe not intermingle, would just be like, I enjoyed your performance very much.
Being an elf herself, though considerably younger.
In Elvish, of course.
Yep. Being an elf herself, but considerably younger, she would actually say, "Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It was one of my favorite ones that I learned while studying Youngins, and this is actually the first time I got to be the opening act here, and I figured stick with what you know. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. You're from Aranel, yes?"
Yes.
Aaron. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you were able to enjoy the performance. Are you familiar with with what had happened? I don't know how long you've lived here.
No. But I'm learning. And this has been a very educational musical event, which I respect wholeheartedly. Have you not noticed Albor often leave? It's a very elvish way of speaking of leaving uncomfortable pauses. Mm-hmm. I imagine this conversation between the two elves is going on very slowly.
She's actually a Corvarian elf, so she's while she's perfectly fine with that tradition, her words are. It's one of those like this is a reference you might not get because you're from the UK, but it's like when you speak with somebody down south over in the US, they tend to have it's called a drawl. They tend to speak slower. It's not that they're dumb by any means. It's not that they're not intelligent. It's literally just that they speak slower. It's part of the culture that they have. There's no reason to get through your words any more quickly than this. You get the point across either way, as opposed to up north where we like to rapid fire words really, 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 really quickly because we can never say enough words. But jitterbugs. So she's more akin to a northern, to that second type of speech. So she's been living around short-lived races her entire life. But she is completely aware of your culture and doesn't seem to be awkward with it at all. You guys have a pleasant conversation, actually. Does anybody else choose to intermingle with her as well, perhaps while he's there or otherwise?
Yeah, I guess as they're having their conversation maybe toward the end of it, I'd walk up to her and just in common say that I truly enjoyed the art and the soul that she put into her performance.
Right. I don't know if Reich was interested in, one, speaking to anybody at all, or two, speaking to the one that just spoke about the hobgoblin peoples.
Yeah, I would simply go up to her and I pull out like a small folded note and hand it to her and I said, "You should check your facts." And then I go back to sitting down. I literally hand her a note of all the I just took notes during her thing of all the pieces of history that she's like a little one-sided.
So, you guys are, so you guys go through and intermingle with different peoples. We don't need to RP through every one of them. You intermingle through the different peoples. But when all is said and done, you got to speak to them, show appreciation, ask them questions, or just stand off to the side loftily like I'm better than all of you. Eventually, you guys are led out of this room and into a more private room where, of course, you get the real meet and greet, where you actually get to meet Dane himself. And so when you finally go into that room and you get to meet Dane, it is a room where you're meant to be meeting with him. However, he's late to show up, so you are forced to wait another few minutes. Do you choose to interact anymore all at this point in time, waiting for this after you've had a little bit out there? Any conversations that you would strike up from what had just happened, or meh?
I congratulate all the performers we see thus far. But other than that, I
Thus far.
ignore
Okay.
the three of you.
I guess I say to Reich, I just go another whiskey.
Okay. Yep. And they. Reich.
Yeah, I would kind of look at him for a few moments and look for him for a few moments and say, yeah, I'll do another.
This may be unwise. In my experience, humankind cannot handle their drink, and you are several deep already. I do not mean to offend. I just don't want to see you, drowning in your own vomit.
So at first, when you're first telling me like how you have concern, and I'm like, oh, like this guy, he's looking out. Like and then when you like get like kind of dark about it, I'm just like my eyebrow raises, and I'm still like, well, thank you for your concern. Like kind of with a question.
When
I
he
think
says,
Yes, I wouldn't want to see anything bad happen to you or anyone.
When
go ahead.
I was gonna say when he just describes it like that, my character actually just snickers. Just
Now, I have no idea how hobgoblins drink, so I'm interested to see if you drown to death.
a lot.
You
And I'd shoot the whiskey that I get. Just put the glass wherever.
I start still sipping on my whiskey, not shooting it.
The Carnathi drink from a very early age.
What is that?
Young for humans?
Yes.
What,
so
did your mother
he's
start giving you
yours-
liquor when you were 10?
I mean, I didn't really keep track. I don't know the age I was when I had my first drink. Who's counting? Who's counting?
It seems that she is counting, which I respect you for. That is valuable information. I think.
How long have you been here? In Corvair?
Oh, a year or so. Why am I so obviously foreign?
Yes.
Sometimes you just need a change of scenery, and there is a lot of scenery here in this city.
Do you like Sharn?
Like is not the conventional word I would use. Shan
You
serves
should've-
its purpose.
You should have seen it a long time ago. It was much better then.
I would have liked to have seen it a long time ago. Were you there? I don't believe, and turns to us. I don't believe hobgoblinoids live that long. But I'm more used to the smaller ones. So I don't. He might be that old.
No.
He gets.
I now look very annoyed.
disappointed.
I just look annoyed now, and I stop talking.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just enjoying my drink and waiting to meet this new artist.
Yes, we're waiting for the.
God, this guy.
I have no words in your tongue to describe this individual.
Garish is the word you're looking for.
Garish is definitely the word.
So
It's a
after
very awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Incredibly awkward conversation.
I know I love it. I love it because the only reason why it was awkward was because Stallbor is so awkward, and I love it so. I'm like, this is great. This is some good stuff right here. Stallbor is such an awkward character. This is wonderful. I'm enjoying it. So that being said, you guys are able to. So eventually, after the conversation kind of dies out, and there's another like minute or two of it just kind of like dragging on in silence in there, you know. The door opens up and he comes walking in, and as the door opens up, the door opens up and you hear like it opens up just like a crack, like a little bit, and you hear, oh yeah, no, I've gotta go take care of this. No, come on, and you have, oh, you know, as you hear like the giggling of a girl over it, and I was like, no, baby, no, really, just give me a few minutes, I'll be back. I gotta go take care of something. Yeah, I know. They're fans, you know how that is. You know, I pay the bills. So. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll see. Okay, yeah. And then you hear like the hard slap of, we'll just say flesh on flesh, as he comes walking. The door opens up and he comes walking in with a big smile on his face, like nothing just happened, and shuts the door behind him. Now, again. He's dressed exactly as you're picturing in your mind of how he's dressed. He looks exactly the way you would expect to, being a fancy rich boy pop star that is the son
It's Justin
of
Bieber.
Well,
God, I will beat him to death.
he is much older than the Biebs. Okay, he's being a half elf. He's much older than the Biebs. He's like in his like late 30s, and he's this way. So but I have no doubt that Bieber will be in his late 30s. Anyways, so you guys. So as he comes walking in, he looks around at all of you. He's like, "Hey, it's great to meet all of you. Did you enjoy the show?"
I enjoy most of the show.
Well, you know, not every performance can satisfy every customer, right? Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. I usually am.
I'm kind of sitting there drinking my drink, thinking of the proper way I want to word what I'm saying. So I just sit there in silence for the next like minute or so,
Yeah.
Oh, he's
kind of
nervous.
taking it in.
Okay. So he's like, all right, well, first things first, autographs? Does anybody, like, I mean, does anybody have a pen? You know, so can you me sign something for you?
Starboard has a pen, but he's very he like reaches for it and then is like, he's not going to give it back. And this is the pen I have on me. I need this pen.
So,
He's not taking no effort to hide just how he doesn't like this guy.
yeah.
How he's watching to see if Luca's going to pass out, and how he's awkwardly thinking about a pen now.
Honestly,
So nobody wants autographs.
I'm just gonna say no.
It's free gold. No?
No.
All right. Well, then I suppose let's talk about another way to make gold, since that's really why you're here.
and that
Really?
I look interested.
Yeah. So, I came privy to a scandal, a plot,
You're a
various
womanizer.
planning. I came privy to something that's going to be happening, and I thought maybe the four of you would be interested in, I suppose, handling the situation.
I kind of like roll my eyes because I wanted to talk about the art, and then he's now trying to hire me to do something. It seems.
Everyone's always
I'm just
offering
like-
me jobs. Is what
I
I'm talking
feel,
about my
I, feel,
art.
I feel stereotyped against, I guess, and I'm just like, what exactly did you need us for?
What can't you handle yourself?
Usually when people make these suggestions, it's because the work is too dirty and they don't want to ruin their own reputations. So they find people who aren't as important but more capable to do it for them.
We'll
I'm
go with
assuming
that
you're
one. I like-
capable individuals.
I like that one. Is it stalled board? Stalled board.
Yes?
Stalled board. That's a great explanation. We're gonna go with your explanation. You said it. So I came privy to a little bit of a plot, a little bit of a scandal that's going to happen. And I thought maybe the four of you would be interested in it. Did I just say that? Oh. Whatever. So, it was during one of my performances. I was playing, that song, and he says the title of one of his songs. Luca knows it. Odette knows it. The other two of you don't. He's like, I was, one of my songs where, was on stage, and these people that were backstage didn't realize that, I could hear them because I was standing right next to them, and they were talking about this plot that's going to be going down. It was, hired help, this, stage hands or whatever, whatever. So there's this group of, there's this group of goblinoids. Is that the PC term? Goblinoids? I don't know. What do we call you people?
I just stare at him. just a completely unamused stare as I just look at him.
Whatever. So there's a group of them, them, and they're they're putting together this thing where they want to attack this marketplace because at the marketplace is going to be a person that they need to assassinate for one reason or another. I didn't get all the details. But here's the fun part. They all happen to have discovered a little bit of a disguise. You see, in case you don't know, and he kind of looks directly at Luca, and he's got a sarcastic look on his face. House Beneath is known for hiring those things, whatever you call yourselves, and they hire them to do a bunch of different jobs. You see, this job is they're going to dress up as mercs for House Beneath, and they're going to do this job for them, and or look like they're doing a job for them when they go out and they assassinate the people that they're going to go kill. So it's going to make House Beneath look really bad, like they have hired assassins. It makes the goblin people things look really bad because they're murdering folk, and all that other stuff. Yeah, so I thought you guys would be a little bit interested in this because you all have a stake in it.
How
We do.
reliable of a source is this? You just overheard some talking?
I literally overheard their whole plan.
The greatest adventures start from a eavesdropping. Mr. Deneath,
I just look at you.
I presume.
Okay, all right. I'm just taken aback by your awkwardness. I
And
don't
that being
even
said,
understand.
I do not understand what this has to do with the rest of us.
Oh,
If you're assuming that
Well,
he
I'm
cares just
assu-
because he's a hobgoblin, then that is... Yeah, probably incorrect.
I don't think it is incorrect. You see, these in particular, what are they called? Hobgoblins. They also happen to be from a broken apart Dakani tribe. And so they kind of carry that name with them where they go. So I thought maybe, is it Ricky? I think Ricky would be very interested in that. Wouldn't you, Ricky?
Educated idiot. That's what all you know about me.
So,
When?
if House Beneath and hobgoblins are being framed, I'm assuming that it is a member of my house or perhaps Undair that is the target. Otherwise, I can't see why I'd be interested in this at all.
Oh, that's right. You care about you. Of course, these prim and proper noble types. Am I right? Am I right? He says to Reich. Right there.
I'm not a
Silence.
noble.
I literally just keep my just unbroken, completely unamused stare at him. Just.
So seemingly he seems to be fine with that because he seems to find his own joke to be amusing enough for him.
Gotta make yourself laugh, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh no, it's actually a member of House Cannith that's going to be assassinated.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But since it all has to be about you, am I right? Odette. Pretty sure that one's Odette.
Why does he know all our names? I don't know all your names.
I'm supposed to know who you are if I'm going to hire you. Is that not a thing? I don't know. So Odette. Yeah, it's not just a member of House Cannith. It's literally the guy that is the head of the repairs department of the lightning rails power, like little, things.
Little things.
I don't know what the hell you people call those things. The lightning rail. It's so like archaic. So they have those little pyramid things. What are they called? The struts. I don't know. Power pyramids. Whatever you call them. Those things. Do you not know what they're called? Oh, I see. You want me to say the name because you don't know the name, and you're trying to make me look foolish. Cute. It's cute. I like it.
I'll kind of just interrupt that conversation and say, and where is this happening? Where and when?
Oh, it's going to be a marketplace. It's actually happening kind of really soon. You should probably head there immediately after this conversation ends to go and take care of the situation.
Then why did we watch the entire performance?
Well, I mean, one,
It wasn't for the art.
it was really, really good performance. I'd have to say it was one of my best performances. Yeah.
Most of it was good.
Yeah,
It was not.
It was one of my best performances. It was pretty good. Yeah, I know. Some of those acts weren't very good, but either way, that is.
Indeed.
I gave you meet and greet tickets for a reason. I mean, we had to make this a little. What's that phrase? Cloak and dagger. We had to make this a bit cloak and dagger, didn't we? So here we are. The four of you all have stake in this, do you not? So that's why I'm trying to hire the four of you to go and take care of this.
Higher indicates.
I kind of noticed. Oh, I was gonna say I kind of noticed that Starboard really doesn't have any stake in this. He's mentioned why everyone else has.
He's
but
not
Starboard-
actually complained. He's just like a little confused.
Yeah, and I just noticed he never mentioned how he would have stake in it, and I'm just like, all right, well then maybe we should get going. Everyone, I look at everyone and I say,
no. The goblinoid is right. Money. Hired implies money.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Dinny.
How much?
Oh, how much for this easy little task? How about 100 gold each? Is that an appropriate price? That sounds good. 100 gold each. That's 400 gold. 400 gold pieces to go kill some to go dispatch of some criminals, sir. He says, looking at Reich.
How soon and where?
Let's see. It's a couple of sections over. You know what? I'm bad at this stuff. I had somebody write it down for me so I wouldn't forget. Hold on. And he goes over to like an area and he pulls like a torn up piece of paper out of his pocket and he hands it to Odette.
okay.
I look at it.
In barely legible writing, you can see like chicken scratch on there, the sector that it's in, the level that it's in. You can see it's not a bad area. It's actually a really nice area of the city. It just happens to be like a bit of a merchant's area of the city where you can find a bunch of goods and whatnot. And you know that this time of night, because it is nighttime now, a lot of shops would start like closing up or whatever in most regions of the city. But that particular region would still have a decent number of people around there. So you guys know that there would be, peoples about still. About.
All right. Well, then he said, I'm just gonna kind of look at her and say, "Should we go?"
Fine. Follow me.
Oop.
I walk out.
I immediately follow behind
I follow.
her.
Yeah, I'm coming
I
along.
follow and give stink eye to the guy again. not aggressive, just like, why are you? And then keep going.
Just enough of a stink eye. Awesome. So, as for what region of the city this is, or what people remember of it, could you do me a favor? Could you, let's see, who would know the city well? Stalbor has lived here for a long time. Odette has been here a bunch of times. Luca has never been here before, and Reich has never been here before. Stalbor and Odette, please roll for me a history check to see how much you know of this area of the city.
I've never gone up that high.
You've been by there before, but maybe not this market, or maybe if you have, you just don't recall. Who knows? Because it is a nicer marketplace, what's her name? Odette would happen to know it very well. She's had to go here to make purchases herself, or at least go shopping with friends that were making purchases, whatever the case may be. So you are actually very familiar with it, and because of that, you were able to describe with decent accuracy what the kind of layout of this marketplace looks like. With the history check, is you're able to identify what it is. Could you do me a favor, roll me an intelligence check, but this time with advantage because you got a 22. With advantage to remember the layout.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome. A 20. So I don't know if you have, say, minor illusion because you're a wizard or something like that, or if you have the ability to sketch something out. But if you would like, or just use words, you can describe to the party one way or another a very good explanation of what this region looks like, what this marketplace looks like.
Is this something you want me to come up with right now?
Yep. What method would you like to do to describe it?
I do not have minor illusion or any way to draw this out for them, so I will just describe it to them.
Absolutely. So you're able to
I
describe...
am glad that you know where you're going. That is very useful to the rest of us. It sounds sarcastic. It's not.
What kind of member at House of Iron would I be if I couldn't find my way around?
Starboard nods. He doesn't know what that means.
Seeing your confusion, I will kind of explain that House of Iron develops trade routes.
They're the delivery boys of everywhere.
Ooh, shots fired, throwing shade over there.
Where's the air horns when you need them?
Wouldn't understand the finer points of cartography. They just stab things with swords.
See, we drink to unwind after a battle. They shouldn't drink and drive.
They
Simple as that.
They drink to forget all the mistakes they've made in the war.
I looked at Rick and like,
I wasn't in the
they
war.
have a rivalry.
I wouldn't gloat about that.
I'm sure they'll be
I just shrugged.
fast
Like,
friends
all
eventually.
right, enough of this conversation. Let's go save my people.
He's like, I'm losing. Yeah. I'm losing this conversation.
This must be awfully embarrassing that,
That my people are being framed.
So what's everyone wielding?
That I have to come save your people.
I imagine you guys would have picked up your weapons.
Actually, not everybody. Hold on, not everybody is prepared for combat, but you know that you need to get there quickly. So probably one of the best ways to get around to where it is that you need to go and how to get there is to actually, and this is Odette would know this. If you guys quickly find your way over to a skylift. Skylifts are, think of like taxi cabs that fly through the air. And bring people of where they need to go. There's different types. There's individual ones, personalized ones. There's carriages that bring people around. You would obviously get a carriage because Odette can get her hands on one very quickly. Why can she get her hands on one very quickly? Because it happens to be House Orion that runs a good number of these here, though there are independent companies that do so as well, or merchant guilds that do so as well.
Taxi driver, sure.
As
this
we're on the way...
symbol on the carriage is the same as the one on your clothing.
Yes. House Orion runs many of these services throughout the city.
I just kind of have a cheesy smile on my face, yep.
You're welcome, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate it. I really do.
During the ride up there, I'm going to remove my breastplate and sling it over my shoulders.
Okay, you're actually not going to be able to have to go directly there. if you would like, wherever your rooms may be, wherever it is that your stuff may be that you need to collect, Odette knows that she can just say a word to the person very quickly. And I'm just going to allow this to happen. You have to make a check. They would be able to bring you where you need to go very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Stelbor
Okay.
would do that.
Yeah, I would also do that. I can't go into battle without my gear.
Yeah. So I'm gonna drop off my breastplate and pick up my weapons.
Okay, so you guys are able to do that, no problem. Find out what you need, where you need it, etc., and do so.
Sure.
Going to collect your things. Describe for me really quickly who needs to get what. Just say who is it?
I'm getting my actual like proper battle equipment, like sword and
So we're gonna
weapons.
go. We're gonna go to you first. And since we're going to you first, why don't you describe for us the area, the location of the city that you live in, and what your home kind of looks like?
I assume I tell Odette where I need to go to get some minor things. I could fight without them, but it would be more efficient. And I assume Odette is not so happy because the skylift just goes down and down and down. The area gets worse and worse.
Even
and
I know
it's-
this is bad.
It's one of, and it stops at like a hotel that Stalbor has had a room in for quite some time, and it's like, and he goes in and is like, you might want to stay in the carriage, and drifts in and then comes back out and has, considering he's very clearly a mage, he does have like actually a sword and some other stuff like strapped to him, and is like, okay, yes, we can go.
When you give us the address, I kind of look at you like, do we have to?
I was meaning to buy a nicer place, but I never got time.
You know, the housing market's really not working.
I'll just say an elf without time.
You don't know anything about elves, do you?
He's got wrecked.
You should go to get your thing.
I shrug. Yeah, I shrug. Like, actually, I don't know much about elves. Yeah, I do need to get my things though. That'd be
You
great.
could go quickly
Alright.
before like the hobos attack you down here.
Yeah, yeah.
These literal murder hobos down here.
All right.
I mean, I can hold my
murder
own.
hobos.
That's gonna come back, isn't it?
Oh my god, literal murder hobos. That's awesome. All right, cool. So anyways, you guys are sorry, I'm just very much enjoying that. That was pretty fun. So you guys go, who's next? Who else needs to grab their stuff? That'd be you, really
Will.
quickly, Will. Describe where it is that you needed to go.
I'm just going to the room I'm staying in. It wouldn't be quite so low down here. It'd be back up to a nicer level.
Don't have to give me those looks.
Nicer level, and we'd go up to a hotel room, so to speak, that has my armor and weaponry.
Okay. And you would go and grab that, and then the hobgoblin literally just throws this crap over his shoulder and says, "Can we keep this in the cab?" Sort of a thing.
Well, yeah. Well, if we can go back to our places, I only brought my sword with me. I wouldn't have my bow on me.
Okay. Yep. Then you would go to your place as well and grab what it is that you need as well. No problem.
And it's actually a much nicer tavern than you guys would have expected for Hobgoblin.
Sure. I actually imagine it being very near the district where it is that you guys are going, kind of like on the way convenience. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of us are a little bit more convenient, a little bit more polite for the party, so to speak.
So during this whole time that you guys are grabbing the things that you need to, and you've described where it is that you're going to get it, do me a favor. You might want to choose which region, like a tactic for entering this place and scouting out peoples. So you've described the way that the marketplace is set up. There's a bunch of buildings all around because between the towers, there are huge platforms that are built between the towers. Sometimes platforms that are in like a ring around the tower, like you imagine a lot of elven homes and a lot of different fantasy writings have like a ring up in the trees. Think episode 6 Star Wars with the little yep. Ewoks' homes. So there's like that, but then there's also like literally huge bridges that connects things. There's other huge platforms that connect between the areas. This episode on one of the big platforms, and there's a bunch of wooden structures that are around built up. Homes, markets, whatever the case may be. This is an open market that has a whole bunch of tents around of different wares that are set up to sell and blah, blah, blah. So the center of this marketplace actually has a huge, beautiful statue there. I think it's a manticore that's in the middle of the statue. It's a huge, beautiful statue there that's on display. And a whole bunch of different markets are set up all around. Generally, the stuff that they're selling here, it's not like you're going to find like a blacksmith or stuff like that. It's usually where you'll find finer things like nicer clothes, maybe some books, but from merchants that, again, don't have their own establishment inside of a building. So smaller merchants for one reason or another. So anyways, you guys are able to find this out. Do you guys want to try to come up with some sort of a task that you want to do here? And actually, I found out what it is that's here. It is a dragonel. Is that the name of the creature? The like dragon / lion with wings, with huge wings. That's into the center of it. Luca and Odette definitely knows. Could Stalbor roll me a? Could the other two of you roll me a history check with disadvantage? Reich and Stalbor.
I'm not gonna know this. How do I know this?
I
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Reich knows, Stalbor does not, that this is actually the symbol of House Thrask. It is another house. It's actually a house. It's the only house that is for two different races, both humans and half-orcs, because half-orcs can't have their own house because, you know what, always racism against orcs. So humans and half-orcs share this mark. It is the mark of... Ooh, I can't remember.
Ooh.
Finding?
I see. I want to say it's finding. Oh crap! What is it? Huh? Why can't I think of it? This is really bad.
I think it's...
Mark. This is really bad. I always know all of them. Mark of finding. Yeah, it's the mark of finding. Yeah. I should know this because I know somebody IRL that has the mark of finding tattooed on them. So the.
Oh, do you?
Absolutely. So the mark of finding is what's here, and so it actually makes a lot of sense that a merchant's guild would have this spot here, and this is where you can kind of go to find a bit of rare goods, because again, it's not well-established places, but it's a little like, whether it be crappy little things, that thing that you just want to find, or whether it be like an actual rare thing, you can find it here in this marketplace, sometimes, not always. So, your strategy that you want to do here, does anybody want to have any input of what kind of strategy you want to approach with these buildings all around an ovular shaped marketplace with a statue in the middle? There's usually guards posted around.
Well, Denise, did you study at Reckenmark? I know you didn't participate in the war, but do you know anything about strategy, perhaps?
The answer is yes, you studied at Reckenmark, but oh shit, that's a burn.
Yes, I just kind of look at you. I get the insult, don't want to dwell on it because this time is being pressed. So I say, perhaps we should split up so to not be so conspicuous. And I think it would be best if I try to blend in with this group.
Do we know what we're looking for?
A group of hobgoblins pretending to be House Beneath. I don't know what constitutes being a House Beneath.
More than likely, they'll just wear the colors, if anything at all.
If they are trying to frame my family, then likely they will try to dress the part.
So
well, I could stand atop a building. It's quite an unconventional strategy from where I'm from, but
the buildings here are very, very tall and make it very...
I was going to assume that there wouldn't be one called the right kind of height.
Yeah, I don't suggest you stand on a building. I suggest that we just don't look like we're together. There's art in a surprise, so to speak.
Yes.
Brilliant. Stay out of sight. Great plan. I love it.
I just kind of like soak
Good
in
to see that your parents
the
spent all that
the
money on
sarcasm.
education.
Ouch.
They must be proud.
Are you guys?
I
Go ahead.
You have to
Oh,
pay
no,
for your
go ahead.
education.
No. You go. You're RPing.
I was gonna say I just completely like ignore the insults and say, is there anything else that you can suggest? Maybe a ride there.
Well, I am going to find the gentleman because I'm the only one who knows who he looks like. And I'm going to stand by his side and chat with him. And I am trained in offensive magics from Arcanics.
Then
So-
it looks like you'll be very useful.
Oh, of course.
That's awesome.
I'm just wondering why you're here.
Oh.
To defend my people.
Well then, if the talking is done,
Yeah,
shall we
please.
get into places?
Yes.
You guys
absolutely.
have decided
How many
to split up. You guys
How
have
many
deci-
entrances and exits are there to this place? To this market?
Okay, so ovular. There is one directly to the south. There is one to the like south east. There's one to the southwest. There's one directly to the west. There's one to the northwest. One to the northeast. Another to the northeast, and another to the northeast.
There are too many exits to cover.
So there are
obviously.
3, 5, 8.
Does anyone know what
8
this
entrances.
guy looks like that we're trying to protect?
Well,
Well,
Starbull's just going to point out there's like they have 2 mages and 2, I assume, not mages. If one of us each goes together, then we'll have a more balanced fighting force. Say something.
I point that starboard like mid-sentence, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Okay. So you guys
I
make
like-
it with it. You had decided to break up. What is the breakup? How are you splitting up? Is it 2-2? Is it all by yourselves?
Starboard
Two,
and
two.
me, yeah, Starboard and I
Yeah.
are going to break up and walk away looking for this group of menacing.
All right. So there's 4 directions to come from. Who's coming from
Hobgoblins.
north, south, east, west? Choose a direction.
West.
You want to come from direct west direction. Heard.
I'm gonna go to the northeast because that has the most like the most exits and entrances.
Okay.
So-
And considering you have old Odette who actually knows what we're looking for, that might be smart.
And
Yeah.
Aaron, you are going to actually go with. You guys are going to pair up.
yes.
Just making sure. So the 2 of you are going to go to the northeast. Now, Aaron can tell you, or my apologies, Odette can tell you, you guys can come from the same entrance together, or you can split up last second and come from 2 different entrances that are very near one another.
All right.
Your
I
call.
look to House Denise.
Well, we are separated.
I'm not
Yeah, you've
familiar
already-
with
you've
this
already
area.
said-
You've already left.
Yeah, I thought we left already. Yeah.
Yeah, we separated.
Yeah.
So
Well, they're still there. You walked off and I followed.
yeah. So it. I don't know which way to approach the side. We need to look for the guy. Is the thing. We
Right.
can find
Our,
him.
our goal is to find him.
Yeah.
So-
Our goal is to find the attackers. Their goal is to find the guy to defend.
So I would say, just, do you know what if she knows what he looks like? I would say, give me a quick description as I'm looking through the crowd.
I give you a quick description. Scott can fill in the blank.
Scott gives you a quick description.
Yep. So from the area that you're coming in from, is that specifically what you're asking for, Eric?
Yes.
Okay, the area that you're coming in from, up in the northeast area, which is what you had requested, is literally over the course of like a 30-foot area, 3 entrances that come in. So you guys can all come in one, but they're rather narrow. They're about 5 feet wide. Or you can come from different ones. Maybe one the furthest north and one the furthest south of the 3 northeast entrances.
Okay.
You want to do that?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Erin, we'll just have you the furthest north, and we'll have Eric the furthest south of them. And you know what we're going to do here? Guess what we're going to do here? Does everybody see what time it is? We are going to take our second break before we come for the final hour. And this is what's really exciting about the final hour when we come back from this break. Does everybody know that tomorrow's International Tabletop Day? And when I say tomorrow, I mean Stalbor or Ollie here has been celebrating the International Tabletop Day for quite a few hours now. But we're going to be bringing in the end of the session in International Tabletop Day, which is very exciting for us for our first stream. So, but we'll see you all shortly, just a couple of minutes. Go take a poop or whatever it is that you do, and I'll see you shortly.
I'm there.
Sounds good.